Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw getting set for the second half kickoff, and it'll be Dave Jacobs kicking off. We hadn't seen him after the early going. There is Anthony Mosley and Lorenzo Lynch deep for the Chicago Bears. Mosley on the left, and this is going to Mosley at the 5. Mosley, penalty markers down, and Mosley finally brought down by 3 Eagles at the 30. Primarily Matt Battaglia.
39.
Another flag.
Illegal block in the back, number 39.
Well, we get that even when the regular players are in, don't we?
Illegal blocks in the back, kind of commonplace, especially on special teams. But these young guys just eager to make something happen, realizing, hey, you know what the heck, might be here, might not, and go ahead and stick it, you know, put that arm in there and get a little clip, a little push, whatever.
So they're going to back up the Bears, who, by the way, in their last 3 possessions have scored touchdowns, and they started in their own territory on 2 of those occasions. And the Bears with a 28-3 scoring edge in the second quarter. And a new quarterback is Sean Payton, who last played with the Chicago Bruisers in arena football this year. Sean Payton. And he hands off up the middle to Al Walden. And Walden gets to the 15-yard line. There's Payton, who recently was cut by the Ottawa Rough Riders of the Canadian League and then went to play in arena football. But look at those numbers in his college football
10,655. My gosh, that's pretty doggone impressive. I often wondered, Dick, how guys can throw for all those yards. Obviously, they're good college quarterbacks, and then not make it in this game. Goes to show you that stats, especially in yardage gain passing, don't really mean a lot.
Second down and 9. Payton pumps once and completes the pass to Kozlowski. Kozlowski is out of bounds, shy of a first down at the 20-yard line. Payton played at Eastern Illinois. He was a 3-time All-America, and only Kevin Sweeney and Doug Flutie have thrown for more yardage passing-wise.
Not bad. Wish we could get Irv down on the sideline now to talk to Mike Ditka and find out if the reason he pulled Hohensee was because he's his starting quarterback and he's going to need to get him ready for next week's game.
And of course, that would be nice, except that, you know, league rules prohibit going down there. But it'd be nice to know. That's a nice pose, Dick. Mike?
That looks real good.
That's nice. Third down and 2 at the 21. And it looks like another delay of the game call. This one against Payton. So Mike Hohensee with an outstanding first half. He threw 3 touchdown passes and really looked like he was in charge there. 12 of 20 in the completion department for 157 yards.
Well, this is where the class of Ditka is really coming through. He pulled out Hohensee, obviously the better of the quarterback today. Put the points on the board, give this other kid a chance to play and not run the score up on his buddy Ryan.
Well, it may not be his buddy Ryan, and it may be a reason why Payton is in there, because they tell us now that Hohensee may have injured his ankle on the last touchdown pass. So I don't know how kind he is. There's a mess up on the shotgun, and look what they get out of it. Sean Payton. Right out of the Bear playbook, right? And a big gain out to the 43-yard line, 28 yards on a mix-up on the shotgun play on third down.
When you get into a shotgun formation and all the receivers run out, everyone's covered. The only player that really doesn't have anybody covering him is the quarterback, Payton. The Payton 17, there's the ball, nice little snap. It was a shuffle pass. Everybody messed it up, so he decides, well, the next best thing to do, of course, is turn on the afterburners and show that great athletic speed and agility. Nice job.
That was Payton, not Walter, but Sean. And it's first down at the 43-yard line of the Bears. And Payton gets away from one, can't get away from the other, and it's an incomplete pass. The officials rule he was in the motion of throwing. Ray Phillips made the hit on him. A twisted ankle of Hohensee, and he's strapping it up, and so he's coming in again. I think Mike Ditka would like to win this game 60-3. That's what I think.
Well, you might be right. 12 for 21, 3 TDs. Makes my theory wrong, doesn't it? Well, yeah, I've been wrong before.
Well, we all are, but...
Well, Ditka said he was going to play Payton.
That's right.
He said he was going to put him in there, so 35-3, I would expect Payton to be in there.
Second down and 10 at the 43-yard line. And Hohensee is back in there, and there's Chris Brewer. And Brewer gets nothing. Byron Lee and Marvin Ayers combined to make the tackle. I think that the Ditka Buddy Ryan thing, while it isn't the front page story as it would have been, or at least close to it in this game, second time they've met, still simmers somewhere.
I don't think that it's going to simmer in this game. I don't think this game has the effect that a regular season, regular players would have.
They send Al Walden in motion on 3rd down and 12. Hohensy's pass is intercepted. Intercepted by Mike Coleman. Mike Coleman, who played semi-pro ball for 3 years prior to going to Kutztown State in Pennsylvania, and has no pro experience other than what you see there. He was born in Frankfurt, West Germany, makes the interception.
Coleman, 35, playing weak safety now in place of Carter Hardwick. Carter Hardwick went out with an Achilles heel injury, so they moved Coleman over, and he's right in the right place, and it was just a bad throw by Honesy as there he stands. Kowalski went outside, and the ball went inside.
Guido Merkins is the new quarterback, and a penalty marker down. Maybe a legal procedure against Philadelphia.
Ball start, number 72, first down.
That's Jeff Wenzel. So Merkins, a 9-year veteran in the National Football League. He has been in the game as a kicker thus far, but now in at quarterback with Houston and New Orleans. Played a lot of positions. Actually led the Saint wide receivers 6 years ago. High snap, 1st and 15. And Merkins completes the pass. He is not known for his throwing arm. He completed that pass there for an 11-yard pickup to Jay Repko, tight end.
Merkins was Bum Phillips' buddy. Bum Phillips loved having Merkins around because he could do anything. And, you know, coaches liked having guys like that.
You know what? They spelled his name wrong. You talked about Ryzek having his name spelled right. It's M-E-R-K-E-N-S. They spelled Guido Merkins' name wrong on his uniform.
Good.
There you go.
That's impressive.
The only thing is we hope he knows it. 2nd down and 4, and here's a reverse. And Otis Grant to the 40, 35, and Otis Grant on the biggest play of the game for the Philadelphia Eagles is knocked out of bounds at the 27 after a 19-yard pickup. Lorenzo Lynch made the hit on Grant.
When we were talking to Buddy Ryan, he said we're going to do a lot of things, and one of the things that we want to do is get Grant on a reverse. And here's the reverse, and look at the key block in the center of your screen as Guido Merkins knocks down the defensive end, and now you're going to see a nice job of running by Otis Grant. Stepped out of bounds about 5 yards behind that, but otherwise it was an excellent run.
He was a 5th-round pick by the Rams 4 years ago. 1st and 10 Eagles. They're way behind in this one. And there is Jacques Robinson. Hard runner, gets to the 20-yard line. Bruce McRae is there. Robinson was the first freshman ever to win the Most Valuable Player award in the Rose Bowl. That was in '82 when he played for the Washington Huskies.
You know, he was one of those kids that, when I watched that game, I came away with the idea, this kid is going to be great. I'll hear a lot of great things. There'll be a Heisman push behind him, and you never heard anything more about him. He just kind of vanished. Kind of a straight-up type runner, not a slasher, just straight up.
Bills picked him, and then he was dropped. 2nd and 2, and Jay Repko got a head start.
Now, we've talked about some of the things that can happen in this game, the cadence, a new quarterback in there, a center and everything. And there's one other problem that both these offenses have, and that is that even is to the left and odd is to the right. And all of these players had to learn that if a quarterback said full right split flow 38, I would think, oh boy, that's to the right. But no, that's to the left. So they've had to adjust to everything being backwards.
Terminology is
a
big part of this thing, isn't it?
It's got to get them going in the right direction.
2nd and 7. Merkins going away from the pressure. Fires. And he was gone for Kevin Bowman. who was covered by Lorenzo Lynch. Bowman was a security guard in the Philadelphia area when he got the call to don the green and gray.
California cool too. Talk to him and say, Kenny, Kevin, how you feel about this game? I'm pretty excited about it. Everything's going pretty good. Well, you want to make this team? You got a big opportunity. Well, whatever. Whatever happens, everything's cool. Hey, all right. Hey, that's cool too. This blitz is cool. Here it comes.
Oh, and it's off the fingertips and a loose ball, and it's recovered by the Bears. January. I think Mike January got there. Yeah, there he comes. Middle linebacker, Mike January.
January 94, taking the place of Mike Singletary, only in position. You're going to see the snap out of the shotgun. Guido Merkins, being a versatile athlete, couldn't jump high enough to grab this one. Then everyone in the world touches the football. Bobby Bell, 97, misses it. There you see Ryle, 65, miss it. And then finally 94, Mike January, the poet laureate of the Chicago Bears.
He writes some of those verses.
When they had that little, well, I'll get to that in a second.
1st and 10 at the 42. Hohensee nearly threw another interception into the hands of Byron Lee.
One of the problems Hohensee could have in the second half, he had so much success in the first half that little edge he had that got him over the hump, he's kind of laying back now and not doing the things he was doing earlier. That time he had his man wide open again and threw off the wrong foot and should have had the pass intercepted. I was talking about January, though, Dick, and they had that little thing where all the rookies get up and sing, and this guy got up, sat on a chair, and read poetry.
Hey, it's something new.
Yeah, a little poetry. My favorite poet was Mark Twain.
2nd and 10 at the 42. Chris Brewer. Stopped by Mike Coleman. So January the poet in the middle, but the Chicago fans would rather see number 50.
Yeah.
Mark Twain, huh?
Mark Twain. He wrote a lot of poetry, didn't he? Got all that stuff.
Third down and 3 at the 36-yard line. 35-3 in favor of the Chicago Bears. Hohensee with 3 touchdown passes. By the way, Hogaboom has thrown 5 touchdown passes for the Colts today.
Hey, that might be a club record.
There's a mix-up, and it's picked up out of the pack by Ray Phillips. And it's going to be Eagles ball. So the game, which started out crisply played, believe it or not, we went a long while without a turnover or a penalty. Bears didn't commit one of each in the first quarter.
Offside, defense, touchdown.
That's going to nullify the turnover there. But then a lot of the sloppiness has come into play since the first quarter. And right now, let's go outside where it is quiet, and John Spagnola, who was on the picket line, the tight end for the Eagles, left a little while ago and signed some autographs. He did his job today. And I think everyone just wants the thing settled. Understatement that it is. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. And Elo Grooms back in action, Terry.
Elo Grooms out of work, didn't have a job down in New Orleans, sitting around, working out, looking for an opportunity. Last year he played football, was with the Cardinals, had a $265,000 contract, tore his shoulder up, finally got it fixed. Hank Stram got him a tryout with Al Davis and with the Raiders. They cut him. He was making $165,000. So in this game, roughly, you're saying that because of the collective bargaining agreement and a vested 12-year player, he's making $10 grand today. Not bad.
Those are the numbers.
That's more than I'm making.
2nd and 22.
Of course, he's working a lot harder than
you mean today or anytime? 9:20 remaining in the third quarter of a 35-3 game.
It would be hard to pass up making $99,000, $73,000. If you were a player out there and your contract called for you to make $73,000 a game, can you imagine making that kind of money? I honestly cannot imagine making that kind of money. I don't know that I could play for that kind of money. I probably couldn't even get my arm pulled back to make a pass. $73 grand. Who ever heard of that?
Payton. And incomplete. Walden was the intended receiver, and Troy West defending. So it's 4th down. And Ditka.
Look at Ditka.
Yelled.
Look at, he's 35-3. The heck, we made a mistake. Coaches never change. Forget the score. Someone made a mistake. Someone blew an assignment, and head coaches and coaches get infuriated. And there's Dick at his best. Now he's back to Monday and Tuesday of last week, showing that little temper side.
He sure is. Kevin Brown will kick for the Bears. And Bowman goes back for the Eagles with 8:47 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Good kick by Kevin Brown. Fair catch into the end zone for the touchback. 40-yard kick by Kevin Brown, who is a farmer. That's why they call him what?
Farmer Brown.
Thank you. These are the sentiments here at Veterans Stadium, where the paid attendance is 4,074. 4,074 here at Veterans Stadium in a 35-3 game, and the Bears firmly in control of this one with 8 minutes and 37 seconds. And you look at the Bears sideline where they're a lot more relaxed. And now we're going to take many of you to New York. Brent Musburger will set the scene for the St. Louis-Washington game that you're going to pick up. And those of you leaving us will be kept up to date on the score of this game. Merkins completes the pass out of bounds, just shy of the 25-yard line. And so, of course, the viewers in Chicago and Philadelphia still are getting our game. We have 8:32 to go. I'm not sure if the clock moved on that last play. In any event, 2nd and 5 at the 25 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Merkins gets buried and holds on to the ball. It was Jim Altoff who came in storming like a big wave out of the ocean.
Well, there's an old saying that keep these guys down, don't let them get in the quarterback's face. But Altoff, number 7, and now watch this. We're talking about in your face. That's a lot of man in your face. What a load, number 70.
3rd down, 15. Altoff. He was in the Bills camp this year before they cut him. Merkins drills it to Otis Grant. He's got it in a 1st down at the 32-yard line. Defending was Bruce McCray. 16-yard pickup. Well, we talked about how records could go into the books in this game, but streaks will not. So those of you wondering about Walter Payton's streak of 170 consecutive starts, it is not in jeopardy in this game. And boy, I'd be upset too, you know, if streaks were in jeopardy here.
I don't know how many players really care about those things.
Merkins airs it out.
Streaks. Because, you know, a lot of those streaks they talk about, you know, this guy's got 200 starts at center or whatever. A lot of them, they run in for one play and run out, you know, start the game and get out of there.
That's true. I guess it's an individual thing. Second down and 10. Well, I wonder what's going to happen to Ron Fazio when this whole experience is over. We're going to tell you about this tight end.
He might not have a job.
Well, right now he may not have, but he thinks he will. It's 2nd and 10 at the 33. Merkins pass incomplete, intended for Kevin Bowman. Ron Fazio is in management program at the Fitness and Racket Club. He's number 84, owned by John Spagnola, Mike Quick, and Ron Jaworski, the former Eagle quarterback. He asked for a leave of absence to go play. Now, of course, he's a tight end, that's Spagnola's position. What do you think their reaction is as far as welcoming him back?
Well, he said he asked for a temporary leave of absence, which they quietly told him would be a permanent leave of absence. So he might have to go get with Stagger Lee and do a little professional wrestling down in Oklahoma City.
Perkins running for his life. Back to the 20, and losing that battle, Jay Norvell, who's made some fine plays for the Bears defensively, and they really got this guy untangled. Vito Merkins, a loss of 12. Norvell's had a fine game. He's been in the camp of the Broncos last year, the Bears this year. He led the Big Ten in interceptions in his senior year, playing strong safety at Iowa.
Well, he came in with Stoops 44. Both of them were grad assistants at Iowa. Two of these guys come busting in here and decided they'd give this thing a whirl for a week or so and get on back. Their school lost yesterday, you know, to Michigan State.
Yes.
So they need them.
Merkins. And the kick will be down at the 45. What? So they what? They need him. 24-yard kick. Terry. 6:40 to go. We'll get back to this contest in a moment.
Nice job.
I've seen outside Veterans Stadium where you're going to see what happened just a few moments ago. We have had our light moments during the game inside, and we have had our sobering moments, and that was a sobering moment as we get back to the football game. 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Brewer carried on that down. The Chicago Bears bench, they're comfortably in front 35-3. Heimule, Kozlowski, Brewer, Mosley on the block punt, and Kint have scored the touchdowns for the Bears today. Hohensee has thrown for 3 scores. There's Sean Payton in the game, and he is down by Randall Mitchell. The only score for the Philadelphia Eagles was a 27-yard field goal by Dave Jacobs in the second quarter.
Number 90, Mitchell, talked so much today about how players got here. Mitchell, actually, Buddy Ryan went to do a Reggie White roast in Memphis, Tennessee. While there, one of the guys over at the University of Chattanooga, Tennessee at Chattanooga, came over and said, hey, we got a guy you got to look at, Randall Mitchell, number 90. Buddy Ryan brought him into camp, liked him, one of the final cuts.
A lot of different avenues of getting here. Inside handoff to Brewer. And the Eagles smell that out. And we'll check out some scores. 35-3 here, and New Orleans winning equally as big, it seems. Tampa Bay in a high-scoring affair over Detroit. The Colts, New England over Cleveland, Cincinnati, and you may say, well, there's Washington over St. Louis, a bit of a surprise considering the Cardinals veterans in the game. 4th down. Lasher punting. Make that Keevan Brown. And back inside the 15 was Bowman. 4:53 remaining in the third quarter. No scoring so far in the third, but it's been Chicago all the way. Chicago Bears comfortably in front on the bench with 4:53 to go in the third quarter. The Eagles, who have not managed a touchdown. They had a 1st and goal at the 4 and had to settle for a field goal. Merkins, and that pass off the mark intended for Otis Grant. Going into the ball game, the big question hanging on Mike Ditka's shoulders was how the Bears would respond with a great start, winning the first 2 games, including a thrashing of the Giants in the opening weekend. And looking like the Bears are reestablishing their superiority, trying not to miss a beat in a game like this today. Topper Clemens, number 27, is in the ball game at a running back. Merkins up the middle. Incomplete. The pass was intended for Bailey, the tight end, and defending on the play for Chicago was Bobby Bell. Bobby Bell, whose dad, ex-NFL star.
The great Bobby Bell. Kansas City Chiefs. I played against Bobby Bell. Remember running out of bounds one time, and he ran, he was flat-footed. And you can sound it sounded like 2x4s after me. And you had plop, 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 plop. I got out of bounds to turn around and look at Big Bobby Bell, Hall of Famer.
Merkins chased out of bounds. Merkins has really had his equipment torn away. today. Sean McInerney that time. Trying to get it together here.
Eagles haven't been able to do anything in this entire game, either running the football or passing the football. Their continuity just hasn't been there, and it's spread over to their defense, spread over to their special teams. Nothing has gone right for them, nothing at all.
Jacobs with a high snap in the end zone, gets it away. Don't know how he did it. Duarte, and he gets into Eagle territory on a 10-yard return of that punt to the 41-yard line of Philadelphia. And we'll be back to Veterans Stadium in a moment.
300. You know what I did today? I tried to punch out a telephone at the airport.
And Terry Bradshaw back at Veterans Stadium. No contest on the field, where the Bears lead Philadelphia Eagles 35-3 before 4,000 fans today at Veterans Stadium. And outside, much of the gathering has dissipated, but there were a couple of incidents and tempers on this game involving non-union players. 1st and 10 for the Bears on the Eagles' 41-yard line. Darrell Clark. Well, the fans came out, 4,000, and a lot of them, despite the lopsided score, it doesn't get any worse than this.
Then all of a sudden, one of them decides, can I play? Tell you what, that guy can play on my team. I like the team. He could play for me.
Steel curtain type guy. 2nd and 7.
The monster of the Midway if I've ever seen one.
Frank Harris and Darrell Clark, the running backs, and Frank Harris gets to the 34-yard line. Dave Brown making the tackle. Frank Harris, North Carolina State.
Well,
there's Kevin Brown and Lasher, the two kickers, throwing the ball around.
Hey, you see that? That little play-action pass there? Lasher, little, stuck it in there, pulled it out.
Why don't we have a catch?
Oh, yeah.
Up here.
These guys are feeling good about themselves, aren't they? Got this big lead, feeling good. We got these big leads as an athlete. Your head swelled up and you feel good and everything's wonderful.
Sean Payton somehow got the ball to Sam Bowers, who somehow held on to it. He's the oldest Bear, by the way, in this game. He's going to be 30 years old in December.
Somehow you got that out, didn't you?
Wasn't easy either.
No, it wasn't.
It was about as tough as that pass play. 2:40 to go in the third. First and 10 at the 28.
I wonder what the Bears back in Chicago think about this. I wonder if they're watching. They'll probably say they're not, but I wonder. Ditka's all involved in it, sending in a play.
We'll find out, I'm sure.
I wonder if they're happy that these Bears representing them, the other Bears, I wonder if they're happy that these guys are winning and keeping that streak going. And or pleased. I wonder if there's any part of this that pleases them. I got a feeling maybe not. But, I think I would be pleased knowing that at least, they're going to continue having that unbeaten
Probably not, though. Probably not for a long while. That's what I think. Payton unlimbers and incomplete. Intended for Bowers again. Well, the Eagles may have long faces right now, but yesterday they were all smiles because Saturday was photo day. And each coach posed with his own particular group. Picture day yesterday.
Is that unbelievable? And the killing part about these, as you look at this, is that those coaches, they didn't know these guys' names. Half of them didn't know who they were. Hey, number 44, hey, come over here. You line up 19. You go over there. They didn't know who these guys were.
Funny story is that they spelled Ryzik's name right, and they spelled the quarterback Merkin's name wrong. Unable to hold on to it is Darrell Clark. It'll be 4th down and 9.
Well, the 4,074 people here, I put some money on this, and I figure the gate today is going to be $33,000. $33,000. Now, Who in this league would make $33,000 today? There's just enough people here to pay somebody today that might be running a little short of cash.
I'm sure a long time ago when the NFL just got started, you know, they had crowds like these and didn't even make as much money up close to it. 4th and 9, and they go for it, and it's Harris stopped short, and they turn it over. Byron Lee makes the tackle.
Gutsy call.
Well, you know, you talked about the shoes, Terry, and about how players don't have shoe contracts. Well, yesterday there was a player out there actually, you won't believe this, in practice wearing a wristwatch. That's Topper Clemens of the Eagles.
I would be really, I would be really impressed if that was a Rolex. But I looked at closely. It's got the EX on the end of it, but it's TIM. You know, I'm not going to say that because we can't say that. Or the other either.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. First and 10, and Merkins loses the ball. And the Eagles recover. Jacques Robinson made the recovery. Jim Altup made the hit, and there's the guy wearing the watch, not wearing it today. And you know that number 27 was the number worn by Herb Cross, and you know when Herb said he felt his heart skip a beat, I can feel that too. Number 27, Herb Cross's number when he played.
I've never seen the Steelers give anyone my number, and I've often wondered what it would feel like. Now I can understand what I guess that Herb was meaning by it's sad. Sad to see this, sad to see someone have your number, I guess.
Well, they weren't Dick Butkus' number. You know,
that's sad. Yeah. Now that is really sad. Can you imagine the greatest linebacker to play the game and someone has his number? Can you imagine that? I can't.
Well, he said that it didn't really matter to him, but I think that it would have to bother you because it means something to have your number retired. Mark Rodenhauser, you said, what difference do streaks make? But I think that kind of a thing, having your retired number, does mean something.
Steelers have 2 jerseys retired, Ernie Stockner and Byron Wizard White. Those are the only 2 players that have their Steelers numbers retired.
Merkins' pass is incomplete with 11 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Clemens was the intended receiver. By the way, this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Philadelphia Eagles and the National Football League is prohibited. Jacobs will punt for Philadelphia, and George Duarte will go back for the Bears. Got to get rid of it in a hurry, and he did on a tough situation. Duarte fumbles, regains his footing, and is buried shy of midfield as the clock sounds, and that ends festivities in the 3rd quarter. That is the end of the 3rd quarter at Veterans Stadium with the score, the Bears 35 and the Eagles 3. We now pause for a word from your local station. Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw as we begin the 4th quarter of a game that has been thoroughly dominated by the Chicago Bears, who have come out and whipped the Philadelphia Eagles to a fairly well 35-3. In motion is Todd Black, and carrying is Frank Harris of the Bears. On the previous play, Duarte on the return. Now, we're going to see Duarte now watch his foot on the seam of the artificial turf here at Veterans Stadium. His foot got twisted on that seam. They have covered the baseball base paths. That was the second base pad. This was yesterday.
Gives you an idea of what happens and what conditions are these athletes are playing on. That is disgraceful right there. $1 million quarterbacks, $1 million receivers and backs and everyone that plays this game. And that is, from what I understand in looking around, Dick, that's the way this field is set up even during the regular season games, which I just find impossible to believe.
Very tough. Frank Harris on the catch. 3rd down and 9. Opening minute of the 4th and final quarter of the NFL, and the return to action after a week off involving non-union replacement players. Peyton completes the pass to Brian Glasgow. And right now we're going to have an update, an NFL Today report. Brent Musburger on that St. Louis, Washington game. Brent?
Well, Dick, in that game there are brothers. Peter Noga.
All right, Brent, thank you very much. Another interesting aspect in that game, which we'll tell you about after this kick by Kevin Brown. And a fine kick, fair catch called for, and it drops. And now Bowman has to run it out. Kevin Bowman loses the ball, and he's down inside the 5. Well, in that Redskin-Cardinal game, Anthony Allen has set a Redskin record, 255 yards in reception yardage. So on this non-union game, he goes into the Redskin record book.
Never before.
Stadium, they didn't open up the upper deck at all today, and 4,000 fans, and I would say that almost all of them have stayed here, and it's getting a little chilly as the afternoon wears on. And you know, if you're going to make your way to this game, you're not going to go home if your club's losing so much.
Yeah, and if you don't have a blanket, you can put on a few extra pounds and get those layers of whatever that stuff is. Hey, you can be pretty warm up there.
And Reggie Brown fights his way out to the 10-yard line. By the way, Anthony Allen, who set the Redskin receiving record yardage-wise, broke Gary Clark's mark this afternoon in that Cardinal game at RFK Stadium. Hohensee, there's a look at Mike Hohensee from arena football to a 3-touchdown NFL game. Injured Eagle.
Eric Bailey, the tight end.
Right.
Looks like they're looking at his right knee. We're going to take a look at it on a replay, and you can get an idea of exactly what happened. He's number 87. Now Brown comes inside, and there's his right leg's extended, and there's the roll up.
That's bad. Oh, yeah. Eric Bailey, tryouts with Atlanta, was on injured reserve, then the Giants last year, Lions this year at camp. He was cut, and there's his story.
So many injuries in a game like this, Dick, would have come from just not being in game shape. You know, muscle cramps, muscle pulls. But he's up walking away. I'm glad to see this. And so many of these kids, those types of injuries, had that been serious, you could understand why. I don't care what kind of shape you're in. You know, you get hit like that, you're going to get hurt. Most of these players in the NFL nowadays wear those knee braces. Almost all the linemen do, and a few tight ends.
Well, you mentioned Carter Hardwick, who actually played for the Oilers against the Steelers in the AFC title game in '79, and he suffered an Achilles tear on the turf, even without any contact. Second and 3.
Bring him in for one game. He's a vested player. He makes $90,000 this year and $70,000 next year because of the injury.
Guido Merkins being chased and is hit hard as he goes out of bounds, and making the hit for the Bears is Sean McInerney out of Frostburg State.
New Orleans pouring it on the Rams. Steelers 21-5. Tampa Bay. Oh, look at this.
They've come from behind. Indianapolis
Hogaboom
continue to roll.
he has to be proud this week. 5 TDs. Gosh, that's great.
Tongue in cheek.
Tongue
Mr.
in
Bradshaw.
cheek. Yes.
Well, the Bears have 7 sacks today, so some things don't change for a franchise no matter who's in there. And now another one, and that was Guy Tefatiller out of the University of Illinois that time. And the Bears lost their best pass rusher with an injury, Keith Smith, earlier in the week. The Redskins holding on to a 1-touchdown lead over the St. Louis Cardinals in the 4th quarter. And the Cardinals are playing with 14 of their athletes. So Jacobs will punt from the back of the end zone. George Duarte should give the Bears once again a good opportunity. We have had no scoring in the second half of this game. It is still 35-3 Chicago. Duarte finds a hole and dives to about the 22. And another injured Eagle on the field. Clip. And that's Dave Brown, linebacker.
Back, number 82.
And both coaches told us they were concerned that things like this might happen.
Well, the Brown clip was a deliberate right up the back and just hit him right in the back of the legs and drove him right up through the field. I mean, it was just, we're talking clip, major clip.
12:41 remaining. And we'll take a break here at Veterans Stadium. All right, the Bears have a 1st and 10 on the Eagles' 40-yard line. Leading by a huge margin, Sean Payton. The quarterback hits his man, and it's complete to Gary Mullen. His first catch, gain of 21 yards. Fred Smalls is a linebacker taking a breather right now, and you want to know what this game is all about for some of these people who cross the line. He was originally a 7th-round pick by San Diego last year. He was cut, came back to Philadelphia where he lived and was mugged. He was hit over the head by baseball bats by a few people, suffered a concussion, was in a coma. Took him a year to get over that. He says this is his second chance. Stories to digest.
Well, you talk so much about players cut, and those are the obvious. Look at Ditka. It's 35-3, Mike. Lighten up. You're going to have a hard time. He had a, you know, I think he's mad because of that flight they had in here was rougher than all get out. He hadn't gotten over the flight yet, but you know, you look at the board here, 35-3. But back to those stories. So many of these kids are cutting. They're kind of simple. One guy cutting out of a hay field, but most of them, when you talk to them, especially the young kids, the word opportunity is the word that constantly comes up in the conversation. An opportunity to better myself. I may never get this opportunity again. So for those, you're saying, hey, I'm really glad that you're getting that opportunity today.
Darrell Clark to the 15-yard line. Bears have started in Philadelphia territory on 3 of the last 4 possessions and have not scored. Maybe that's what's upsetting Mike Ditka. Well, next Saturday, to remind you, we have one of the great traditional college football games, Oklahoma and Texas, and they'll play in the Cotton Bowl at 2:30 Eastern Time. Sooners, what a juggernaut they are, ranked number 1 in the country. 2:30 Eastern next Saturday, college football on CBS. 3rd down and 5 at the 15. Darrell Clark.
These Bears have looked so strong offensively, defense. You know, they've run that football well. Wojciechowski, Ditka said he's my best lineman at left guard. Jack Oliver at left tackle. Rodenhauser at center. These guys are my best people. And I'm thinking, what's going to happen when this really good young Bear team out here has to say goodbye to this and the real ones come in? I think probably what Ditka could do is have a scrimmage, Dick, and let them scrimmage one another and see who ends up winning the game.
Okay.
That'd be interesting.
I'm for that. 4th and 2. Penalty marker down. And Darrell Clark is stopped right around the 10-yard line.
Hohensee against Tom Zach, McMahon.
I'm sure
January up against Singletary.
Illegal motion, number 80.
I'm sure the Bears were regulars players. Their roster would love to do that. I think they'd love to do that.
Kozlowski foot racing against
Galt?
Willie Galt. Yeah, maybe they have a foot race. See who wins the race. They get the number since Kozlowski has his number.
New Orleans beating the LA Rams 37-10. Replacement players or no, it counts. Buddy Ryan, whose 2 sons opposed each other on the coaching staffs of Eastern and Western Kentucky yesterday. Here's the time remaining in the 4th quarter. Reggie Brown, after the Eagles stopped the Bears on 4th down, taking over. Eastern beat Western 20-10, and Rex coaches Eastern, and Rob is on the coaching staff of Western. As graduate assistants, I might add.
But he said this is his last stop as a coach. When his duties are through as the Philadelphia Eagles head coach, he's moving back to Kentucky and get into the business of raising thoroughbreds and racing them. He said he's going to be his own trainer. And I can't think of anything more enjoyable than being around horses, nor more expensive than being around horses.
Horses, maybe.
Horses. Down in Texas, it's horses.
There's Buddy Ryan, who's said his first job as a coach was leading Texas high school players. He says they were pretty good. And we all know, of course, that some of the best in the country come out of Texas.
Coach down in Gainesville, Texas.
3rd down and 1. Jock Robinson just missed getting the first down on that last play. And now a quarterback sneak. And it looks like a first down. Terry, I got to think that every player in today's game probably wants a videotape of the game to show their grandchildren that they played in the National Football League. One time, maybe. Maybe it'll be more.
I would. If I could play in the NBA just one game, wouldn't you cherish that moment? Or if you could hand glide one time, wouldn't you cherish that? Or go up in a rocket or fly an F-116? Sure they would.
Pass complete to Jay Repko, who goes out of bounds at the 29.
If this strike isn't settled, and we're talking about as if this is the only game they're going to play, it very well may not be. They may play another game next week. If so, these guys they'll have 2 VCRs, 2 of those tapes, and away they go. 2 games is a lot better than 1, you know.
Maybe you play better than 1 than
right, and then who knows? They get better and better, and before you know it, these are the real teams.
2nd and 2. Merkin's pass is caught, and a first down to Otis Grant. 8 minutes remaining in this game. It started out cleanly played. The Bears, there's a penalty marker down. It is a first down. It started out cleanly played, but the Bears just had too much and stayed penalty free and error free early in the ball game, and then moved out with the key being 28 points in the 2nd quarter. Mike Hohensee, the quarterback, who's now been in 4 pro leagues with 3 touchdown passes today.
Well, we had Dick Butkus on at halftime, and I think the point he made about the game would be won with the team that had the better quarterback. Very good observation by a linebacker, defensive player, because Hohensee had the hot hand. The special teams for the Bears certainly were superior to those of the Eagles, and consequently, they've cashed all these guys in, all these Hohensee touchdown passes, and 35-3. Did it all in the first half, too.
The Eagles will go 1 and 2. Merkins. Another diving catch by Grant. Should be good enough for a first down for Philadelphia. George Duarte makes the tackle. I have to think right now in a 35-3 game that maybe what the Bears on their sideline are saying is, hey, come on, let's shut the Eagles down. Make sure they don't get a touchdown against our defense. First down for the Eagles at their own 49-yard line.
Well, what, they have 8 sacks today, so they're going to be tops of the NFL in sack department, so they're carrying on the tradition pretty well.
Draw play, Jock Robinson. Talk about tough jobs today to try to keep the spirit going for the cheerleaders. Let's go down to Irv Cross now, Irv.
Oh, it's a pretty tough duty here today, Dick, with the Eagles losing 35-3. I want to ask you young ladies right off the bat, are you replacement cheerleaders?
No, we are not.
You're the real McCoy, huh?
We're the real thing.
Yeah. Well, what was your day like?
It started out very early in the morning, and
Well, how early?
7 o'clock.
Where did you come in from?
We really can't say where we came in from. We just came in on a bus.
Did you see the pickets when you came in?
Yes, we did.
Did you feel threatened by it?
No, we just felt kind of bad. You know, we just hope that things can get settled pretty soon and everything's back to normal.
Well, I know you're used to having 70,000 screaming fans in here. You haven't had that today. Is it pretty tough to do your job as cheerleaders?
No, they've been just as loud.
Just as loud, only 4,000 people here? Hey, wait a minute. Well, it's been fun anyway for you, I guess,
Yes,
huh?
a lot of fun. I mean, I'm enjoying myself just as much as I would at a regular game.
All right. Thanks for being with us. Dick?
All right, Irv, thank you. Another first down for the Eagles. Reggie Brown that time. And here's Reggie Brown cutting inside and getting maybe a yard, and that's all. There are the cheerleaders doing their best.
Irv went over there and grabbed 3, and we've got 5 or 6 right here waving at us. How y'all doing? Good to see you.
And they're all over. They're at 4 corners of the stadium.
Yeah, pretty little girls, aren't they? I guess they're. I mean, those are nice-looking cheerleaders.
They sure are. And they work hard, you know.
Well, they kick a lot, and they do a lot of kicking and running around.
Perkins with a 2nd and 9. Shot. Good pass, good look-in pass that time to Otis Grant. Don't forget, he's played with the Rams, so he's been through this 25-yard line and an injured
Grant's caught some passes today. We've got another injured. We've got a bear down. Looks like it's either 44. I believe that's Stoops, isn't it?
Yep, Mike Stoops. Free safety.
Another grad assistant at the University of Iowa with Jay Norvell, the right outside linebacker for the Bears. Those quick slants, receivers hate them, quarterbacks hate them, and safeties, I guess, like them. That gives them the opportunity to close down and nail these guys, but backfired.
Why is this man breathing like
Stoops is being tended to.
Stoops is down, and the injuries come so many times that when you haven't played football and you've lost your technique, we're in the 4th quarter and the legs are tired and cramps come around, you're going to get injuries, especially in a game like this. And I'm glad to see he's up, and I hope he's okay. But it's going to happen. That's one of the fears of a game like this is the injuries. And I am really surprised, Dick, that we haven't had more injuries. It seems like the kids that have been nicked have been able to get up and walk off the field.
You're right. Jacobs was really jarred on the opening kickoff, and he's coming back.
Kickers are tough, though. I mean, kickers are tough.
Eagles 1st and 10 on the Bear 25. 4:17 remaining. Trying to score a touchdown. Boy, look at the Bears. They can't wait to get inside. Penalty markers down, and the pass incomplete. Grant. And there is Mike Ditka. Look at him.
He's screaming and hollering because they had that Bear blitz on up the middle and everything, and he put the pressure on, and the guy was beaten very badly. And Ditka's upset once again because one of his players blew an assignment.
Illegal motion.
Saved by an illegal motion penalty. And it's declined. Mike Ditka must think that the score is reversed.
Well, that's what made him such a great player was his intensity as a player. He is a Butkus, a Jack Lambert. He has that type of temperament. He just won't settle for anything less than 100%.
Why he's won a Super Bowl. Merkins rolling out is hit back at the 34-yard line by Jim Altoff and Guy Tiefentiller for the Bears. That's the 9th sack of the game by Chicago. Well, we saw Mike Ditka with sort of a new kind of look on the sideline.
Well, there's this look. That's the I'm not sure look. The tongue just a little, there it is again. I'm still not sure look.
Maybe it's a signal.
I'm still not sure. Now, I'm not sure. Well, now I am. Nope, no, I'm not. See?
Maybe sending a play in.
I never thought of that.
3rd down and 20. Merkins down, and that's number 10. Bobby Bell. Loss of 8 yards. He did that very well, Mr. Bradshaw.
Oh, craziness on this day.
10 sacks.
Been involved in a lot of things. I never dreamed I'd be involved in something like this game.
I don't think anyone has connected with football in any way, shape, or form.
Been hard for everyone involved. Owners, players, the fans, the announcers.
Jacobs kicking, and Duarte calls for the fair catch. And it takes a Philadelphia roll, and it's down at the 6-yard line.
Uh-oh, there. Now this is where
Mike
he's
Ditka. He's not
sending in signals.
He is not saying nice going, guy.
No, he isn't. This is what he said he didn't want to do. This is losing control. But then you regroup, put your hat back on, and then everything's fine. Everything's fine.
3 minutes and 2 seconds to go. Mike Ditka working hard this game. And it's been the Bears in front. Sean Payton in relief of Mike Hohensee, who threw 3 touchdown passes.
Good pressure that time by the strong safety, Troy West, coming blitzing up through there.
Chris Brewer, the ball carrier. You see the time, under 3 minutes remaining. Well, the Chicago Bears now 3-0 on the year. And, of course, the one thing and the only thing really on Mike Ditka's mind, as he told us yesterday, the Minnesota Vikings next week. Divisional foe.
Right. You have to be concerned about the guys within your division. You can win all of those, and you're the champ. You can lose the rest, and everything's fine, except for when it comes to the championship game. So he's concerned about next week playing the Vikings and hopefully having his guys back.
Payton in the end zone. Fires, incomplete tip. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, after trailing the Lions today 17-0, came back and beat Detroit 31-27. So the Lions are now 0-3 on the season, and the Buccaneers 2-1. Their only loss to the Bears in the game that we did a couple of weeks ago at Soldier Field.
One of the problems that some of these coaches may find, and I don't think that's certainly the case for the Eagles, because Joe Woolley and the people, the personnel man, have done a good job of going out trying to put these teams together. But teams that you can see the quality of the guys that were in their camp and the quality of the people they picked up to put these games on. They're very serious, and I think more evident now than ever.
3rd and 12. Payton is going that time, and a penalty marker is down for Todd Black. Pittsburgh Steelers over Atlanta. And San Diego edges Cincinnati.
Number 30, first down.
Penalty was against the Eagles' Christopher Johnson. By the way, Danny White is not starting at quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Kevin Sweeney out of Fresno State is. And our viewers in Chicago will see the Cowboys and the Giants when this game is over, but our viewers in Philadelphia will not. And as you see, the 2-minute warning is here. And at Veterans Stadium, on one of the most unusual days in NFL history, timeout with the Bears winning big. Bears leading 35-3. I want to correct before I mentioned that Kevin Sweeney was starting for Dallas against the Jets, not the Giants. The Cowboys are playing the Jets at Giants Stadium this afternoon. The Giants are playing the 49ers.
I wonder why that is, Dick. I wonder why they pulled they figure they can do it without him. Huh.
Well, maybe the thing we talked about, protection and injury problems could damage Danny White. Who knows? 1st and 10 with 2 minutes to go in the game, and a fine catch by Chris Brewer. Good play by Brewer. Right now, let's go down on the field and Herb Cross. Herb?
Dick, just kind of summarizing my thoughts on the day, I couldn't help but reflect on the fact that when I played in the National Football League during the 1960s, the day at the stadium was a lot of fun. It was not the case here today in Philadelphia. It wasn't fun for the replacement players who found themselves threatened with bodily harm during the course of the week. It certainly wasn't fun by the Union players on a picket line, picketing for a noble cause they find get out of hand with a rowdy crowd. It wasn't fun by an angry management concerned about the direction and course of this great game. And, of course, it wasn't fun, most of all, for the innocent fans who tried to fight their way into this stadium through a hostile crowd simply to enjoy a day in the sun. I wore this Eagle uniform years ago, and I wore it with great pride. And I couldn't help but think about the great players who played before me who supported this legacy and tradition here in Philadelphia. Players like Pete Pihos and Norm Van Brocklin and Steve Van Buren and Tommy McDonald. I could go on and on and on. And, of course, everybody knows the legacy of the Chicago Bears is simply the foundation in which the National Football League has been built. I hope the Management Council and the Players Association learn something from this dark day here in Philadelphia and get together and resolve their labor disputes very soon. Because I never, ever want to see another day like this in the National Football League. Dick?
Thank you, Irv, and well said. Under a minute to play. Sean Payton out of bounds. And Terry, everyone has a lot of viewpoints, but Herb Cross, who played here, wore the Eagle uniform, being here today for this situation hits home. Huh?
It really does. You could poll everyone that's in this stadium and around the country, and everyone has an opinion. And I think as an announcer, I have a responsibility to the National Football League and to the integrity of the football game. I think it's a crying shame to some. Really, it's a crying shame that grown-ups can't sit down and resolve their problems without the considerations, it seems so many times, of the fans and the players and everyone that's involved. But mostly the fans, because they seem to be the one that are constantly getting the short end of everything that has to do. A lot of money being made. And I can't for the life of me believe that grown-ups can't sit down and solve their problems. It just really is amazing. And it's sad, extremely sad.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. And, of course, you and Herb both played in the league. And I think that maybe this game was fun for the players who played in this game today. But you know what? This is not what the National Football League is all about, having this kind of a game without really, truly great players, having an empty stadium. This was not what the National Football League has come to be. I can only just put my stamp of approval on what you've said and what Herb Cross has said, and it is indeed a sad day in professional football, and I know, and I couldn't utter the echo more, that I hope we never see another day like this again.
I work for CBS Sports, and we were told to be here and do this game, and hey, I'm here. But I agree with Herb, and I think everyone else. I don't want to do another game like this. It's not right. It's not fair to these young men to go through the ridicule and the insults. It's not fair to the coaching staffs and the player personnel people that have to go around the country and spend more dollars trying to put together a team. And it's not fair because Buddy Ryan is going to walk out of here a loser today, and Ditka's going to walk out a winner. And I don't think that's right. I think that's totally wrong. And the whole situation needs to be resolved next week, or shut the whole thing down and get it done. No more of this.
Well, whatever happens, this game is counting, which means that there's going to be some team somewhere that may not have a home field advantage, that may not get into the playoffs, that may not win a division title because of what happened on this Sunday.
That's true. And once again, that goes back to the fact that, is it fair? Is it right? Is it wrong? You know, only the owners and only the players and the people that are putting these games on can answer and say honestly from their heart, yeah, this is right. No money made. If that's the bottom line, certainly wasn't any money made today.
And I guess money's a big part of all what we're talking about, isn't it, huh? The part.
Free agency seems to be an issue, but as a player, we got another injury down, and that's one of the things I don't want to see now. But as a player, we're so concerned about ourselves and the I syndrome and the now syndrome. What's good for me now? When the bottom line is players only play 4 years, I only played 12 years, and we should be concerned about when we're 55 and 60 years old. Not now. Our careers will take care of themselves, and we're going to have to get out and make an honest living one of these days. This league cannot take care of us forever.
Guido Merkins is shaken up as a result of the 11th sack of the game by the Chicago Bears. So ahead for the Eagles and Buddy Ryan and the Dallas Cowboys on the road next Sunday with a 1-2 record now for Philadelphia. And for the Chicago Bears, 3-0 as they face the Minnesota Vikings. "11 seconds to go." And maybe it's kind of poetic that the last play has to come about after another player is shaken up. And we haven't had serious injuries, it doesn't seem, today. But, well, I guess we've all made our thoughts known, and that's the way it goes.
I feel better having said those things. I don't know if I certainly haven't done any good for anyone, but I certainly feel better.
Final seconds ticked off. So for Terry Bradshaw and Herb Cross, Dick Stockton saying so long from Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium.
When you look for a nod, we definitely hope they win, but at the same time, we're not going to turn on the set and look at them.
I kind of wonder, really, if they won't watch, because it's going to go on their records, so it wouldn't surprise me if a few of them turned into the game.
flame up in Lake Forest. It was picture day at Hallis Hall. The Spare Bears all smiles, and so was their coach. In spite of the position he's been put in, Ditka was in a great mood today.
This isn't fun. There is no such thing as fun. I'm